Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Printing's Alive with me, Warren Werbit, the host who loves print, talk anything print. And today we have another guest, special, of course, because all my guests are special. Truth is, everybody in this industry is special, even if I don't say it to your face. Today we have Tracy Archuleta. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Oh my God. This is, I don't even know what episode this is. It could be almost episode 30, but that could be the first time I got a name right. So kudos to me. Anyways, welcome.
Thank you.
You're here because we were chatting and we've chatted over time a couple times and you've been in print for a long time. But tell us what you're up to right now.
So right now I rejoined image8creations, which is an augmented reality consulting firm. That's how we met, actually, is through MJ with doing augmented reality and so forth. So Chance Harris started that company. I rejoined her, and just to build revenue like I was doing before, like I have done for over 30 years in the print industry.
Cool. So, but the last time we spoke before, you were working with Konica Minolta.
That's correct. Yes. As a director with Konica Minolta in their industrial print division, and I handled the inkjet, embellishment, and label. I was a 3-tier director, and then worked with my specialists and so forth to obviously place those products.
How come you're not there now?
Well, Warren, let's just say you can check out the juicy details in my personal social channel, T's Garage. But because I'm not into kissing corporate ass or dealing with political bullshit. That's why I'm not there.
I am so excited. I am so excited at this moment that I'm speechless. Okay, so the first question I'm going to ask then, before I ask another question, is there anything legally I should know before I ask a question? Because I don't really want to ever get anybody in trouble.
Not that I'm aware, and if there's or something there's on the line, then we can just touch on it later. Again, I can talk personally on my social channels, so not a big deal. I'm not too worried about it. I'm already terminated, right?
Right. So, no, that's your own doing. I just I was just
wasn't my doing. That wasn't my doing. That's the thing.
No, well, how long were you with Konica?
Oh goodness, I've been off and on with Konica since the early 90s.
So you're like a real print girl.
Yes, I am. Creative print space, actually. I come from a creative background. I've been in TV, radio, public relations, all of that good stuff. And then when I learned print and I was able to be like, oh my gosh, I can take what's in my head and have it on paper in 6 minutes through Quark Express. I'm like, wow, a whole new world opened up for me. So I've been schlopping print for over 30 years.
Well, Quark Express, that's almost like a relic in our industry, no?
Yes. Yes, it is.
When
so
it
it's Telemagic, which was the first CRM. And then Goldmine, right? People are talking about CRMs and are they necessary? Blah, 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 blah. No, they're not necessary when you're a sales professional, top performing sales professional. I don't think they're necessary. I've always done really well without CRM. So it's for data management and just like photos, right? Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, so, CRM's for data management and Big Brother knowing what you're doing.
That's correct. Yeah.
Which
and
is not, which is good because you get
it's
good.
It's
people
good.
You have to know.
There's purposes for it, right? But when you have a top performing sales professional, you don't slow them down with CRM. It shifts their mindset. It does a lot of things that really can hurt productivity. So it's just I've seen it. It's happened with me myself.
I'm smiling because my head is just going with questions and like the OEMs. So I'm just going to ask outright this question. Do the OEMs actually care about their customers, or are they really just out to push as much equipment as they can?
They're out to push as much equipment as they can and fill their personal pockets and the bottom line, period. That's what they're after. If you find an OEM that's any different, let me know. I've worked with this one again off and on. I'm familiar with the other ones. I've heard better. And let me put a caveat on that. Actually, I want to point this out. I've been with this company. Was with Konica Minolta off and on since '92. On the in betweens, I've had my own business. When I went back to the IP team, Sorry, worst leadership I've ever been involved with. Yes, for many different reasons. Being a leader myself, mentoring sales professionals, being in the commercial print space, there's a psychology that goes behind it. And what good leaders do, unfortunately, it wasn't the case on the past leadership or new leadership. And hence the reason why there's so many uproars, right? You watch End of the Day with Ray, and when he talks about financially and stuff, he's not wrong. And when that's happening, obviously you have poor leadership because it's affecting the numbers on the sales reps that are supposed to bring in your numbers, right? And when leadership aren't treating even their own people the way that they should be treated, how do you expect them to treat the customer any better? It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
So no, they don't care about you. And the one thing I want to put out there too is remember, they need you more than you need them. You already have your business. You already have your equipment. You already have things in place. You're looking to maybe be more productive, add something more value, those things. So you don't really need them at the time they want shit signed. So don't deal with that. And that's kind of where I come in too, is a liaison to help buffer that situation and be like, back off, man. We already told you we need to talk to so-and-so and so-and-so. Don't be coming in here or calling or telling somebody to call and get an appointment with me just because you're looking to meet a monthly, quarterly, or annual revenue because you're a poor leader and can't keep your sales reps pipeline full. It all comes down to leadership. A rep's is gonna excel if they have good leadership, period. If they don't, you have problems. You get pushy, sleazy sales reps that want to bug you all the time for an answer that you've already told them you're not going to make right then. So
I guess sales reps are sales reps in general. So let me ask you another question, only because you said it's KM, and a hot topic lately everywhere is embellishment. I happen to be somebody who loves embellishment. I love high-end selling. I love quality print, right? When you could sell it and get whatever price it is that you need for it. But there's a big push on embellishment out there in the industry right now. And it's touting it as everybody should have it. The customers want it. The customers will pay more for embellishment. What's your take on it with customers you've dealt with who've had it, who were thinking of putting it in? Is it working? Is it not working? Who's it working for? Who's it not working for?
Thank you. Great question. I love embellishment too. I really do. I think in the right application, it works wonders, right? I've always been a firm believer in direct mail for embellishment. First off, I'm a believer in four things: TV, radio, word of mouth, and print, right? And social just kind of comes in and sprinkles everything else on. But with regards to embellishment in print, yes, I feel it's a good thing. However, it's not for everyone, right? Are there some good people out there using it? 100%. Corfact and San Leandro, they use it to market themselves and market the real estate agents and add some bling to their literature. And it helps. It really does show a difference in value or expected value, perceived value, as you will. And then also Serious Graphics out of Phoenix, some of the best embellishment designers I've seen, some of their stuff, and hence the reason why they've won a lot of FSCA awards, right? But it's not for everyone. Commercial printers, they're not designed, a lot of them, to support embellishment. They're printers. Their sales team are not even designed to support embellishment because a lot of them don't know how to add the value of embellishment on it, right? So great tool, not for everyone. And if and when used properly, it does, and it can increase the ROI. You can get that with traditional also embellishment as well, right? So moving into digital, yeah, you just need to know how to position it. You need to have a designer that's a true designer, and then use creativity, right? It doesn't go with everything.
No, agreed. So with the machine, like with the MGI machines that were sold, I'm just thinking like, are there people who give them back? Are there people flying with them? Are people buying seconds? Are people using those machines for regular production or just digital?
Thank you. Yes, there are some giving them back. Um, there are some that have been very successful with them, right? It just all depends on the tools that you have and the support tools, uh, creative designers, an audience, right? Because a lot of people just try to push embellishment on everybody, and it comes down to the application. Is the application the correct application for this client, right? And when you're talking to customers and you're really listening to what they need, then there's an opportunity to 100% add embellishment. And graphic designers, they can turn a project on a dime if they know embellishment, but that's where the gap comes into as well. These OEMs are trying to push embellishment on the commercial printers. Commercial printers don't design print necessarily. Some do if they have a marketing department. Commercial printers print. Designers design for print. So if there's a brand and a designer, a high-end brand, a designer knows about embellishment, they can turn it on a dime and say, hey, how about we add embellishment on this, right? So I've said this for years with KM, and if you remember, I was on the original IP team with KM, and I was launched and evangelized 360-degree marketing analytics platform and also augmented reality. So our space and my space was nothing but advertisers and marketing agencies, and that's the background I came from, right? And so we were educating them on this, and then new leadership came in and they riffed it, bad mistake, and they're trying to get back to where they were 5 years ago. And it's not happening. But again, they're missing the boat. They're talking to the wrong audience. What do they say? Know your audience. Commercial printers don't drive creative, don't drive print. They print, right? Creatives drive print. And I've said that for years. And if you're not talking to the creatives, you're off your mark. You're off your mark. And then what happens is those creatives, those ad agencies, those marketing departments, they're calling up their printer and saying, hey, I have a large job that needs embellishment. Can you do it? Nope. But I can get equipment that can do it, right? Creatives, your customers drive the equipment you purchase a lot of the times. So again, they're missing their mark going after the commercial printers. They need to go where creative comes from.
Well, I'm going to give a plug right now to two of my friends who I think have found a place within that zone with the OEMs. Kevin Abergel, the founder of Tactiful, and Eric Vessels, formerly of We All Know What They Think. And they're out there putting together a really good program to work with the OEMs, because I don't know if the OEMs realized it, but Kevin certainly realized that, and he goes back to the MGI days, but he certainly realized that there's things that have to be done. And now he's got this program where they're going in to teach companies to think about their marketing, to think about their production, to think about their estimating. And he has some really, decent software out there using AI, and helps you determine, your higher end value of selling. And they've got some other applications and a previewer for when you design. So I think he's trying to work it to help, but printers are printers. And I think you're right when it comes to the creative, because there might be one creative person in some of the printing companies, but that's it.
But there's not very many, right?
Well, salespeople aren't creative like that. You might have the odd person who has a vision and could see and could think and can make recommendations, right? And then I also just find embellishment. Do you think fifth or sixth color is considered an embellishment?
No, it's fifth and sixth color. It's not, in my opinion, it's not considered embellishment. It's an add-on color.
No, from me being an offset guy, I think, pretty much the same way as that. But I think the foils and the embellishment, there's some good opportunity, but I think it's tough. And I think the average printer, it's a big expense for them to get into. So really what I recommend to people who talk to me about it is find somebody local, even another printer that that has the machine, make a deal with him, because he should be happy to have the extra volume and movement. And if you ever see it going up, then it's time to look. But if you have zero sales in embellishment, you should not be buying a machine.
Yeah, it's not something where you build it and they will come, right? That's just not how it works. Again, the mindset.
Not anymore. Our industry used to be a little bit build it, they will come.
A little bit, yeah, but not anymore, especially with embellishment. I'm very familiar with Kevin and Eric. I was one of the first ones to place an MGI piece of equipment. It was one that actually came back. And the reason being is because of the marketing strategy that we put together. They chose, the account chose not to follow it. So therefore, it just didn't move forward like it was supposed to. No harm, no foul. But Eric and Kevin have come a long way in that space to educate. They're doing a really great job. I do feel that they're missing their mark a little as well. Again, they need to go upstream to where the creative comes from rather than
they're doing that. They have this awesome dude, Matt Redbear, who is just off the charts wicked. Not only is he a creative designer, but he's also an operator of the MGI machine.
Oh, love it.
Right.
Perfect.
So he really knows what he's doing. But yeah, I don't want to stay too long on the embellishment thing, but I just think that it's a big push by all these OEMs with all their equipment. And I think the push is so big, like a tsunami wave almost, and that just printers have to be careful, have to be smart, because, it's not just the $300,000 plus machine. It's the space, it's the person, it's the management, it's the selling. If you aren't a printer that's if you're a printer who's not involved in your own marketing, then you need to get involved in your own marketing before you take on one of these machines, because it's the only way you're going to let people know that you have them.
Agreed.
Right?
It's a strategy play, right? It's a revenue stream play. And so if you don't have the longevity to want to do that, it's not for you. It is a commitment for embellishment. It's not a turnkey. You put it in and one of your designers can come and use it, right? There's some training. And again, it comes down to application. It depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah. And today you got to be good at everything that you do if you're going to buy equipment, and you have to make sure that you can keep the equipment busy, because the
Absolutely.
monthly payments come around real quick.
They do.
Right. And everybody's on edge, anyways. Okay. Enough with the embellishments. Just if you're a printer, be careful. Big push, very exciting times. Actually, why don't you get the OEM to put it in for a little while, see if you hit some numbers, or if they put it in, base your lease on the numbers that you're doing, kind of like when retail rents space in a mall based on their sales. That way you are protected, and there's an upside to everybody if you do well with it. How's that for an idea?
Absolutely. And also, just to tag your shirt that's coming out, firm believer, embellish print and not your words.
No, exactly. Listen, it's really all about the word. Well, print is the beginning and the end of everything.
It is. Right? All roads lead to print.
No, because you start off being born, and your family puts out a print announcement, and then you die, and they put out a print announcement.
You're absolutely
right. So couple things coming into the world. Everybody comes in the same. Everybody comes in bare, right? Everybody needs a diaper. Everybody leaves. Maybe not the same, but chances are in diapers and Velcro shoes.
Fair to say.
Right? Well, even I find it hard to some mornings to bend down and tie my shoe, but hey, right? So before you moved on and you were in print in the last little while, what were you hearing from your customers out there about the market, about the work they were doing? Were all of them busy? Were all of them not busy? A lot of questions I'm giving you, so I can let you run with it. But what were the good ones doing? What were the bad ones doing? No, don't tell us what the bad ones are doing, just the good.
Well, the market's shifted, right? It's really shifted. And before, you didn't really have marketing departments in commercial printers. So that's one thing that a lot of commercial printers have done, is they've had a marketing department, right, to capture that. And it happened when the ad agencies and the marketing departments were breaking up, right? Used to, you'd go to an agency and you can get everything done. And then they shifted to marketing departments. And then it kind of shifted an uproar. And it's a perfect time, actually, for printers to jump over those agencies and go direct to brand without interrupting that relationship, because the brand wasn't promoting or offering everything that the commercial printer had to offer, right? So they started to say, okay, well, we're just going to ex-nay the ad agencies and marketing departments and add our own marketing department. I think that's a good move. I really think that was a good move for all of them. But again, like embellishment, it's not for everyone, right? If you're going to be in creative marketing, don't do it half-assed. You need to make a commitment and have it be part of your long-term strategy. You get the best people in there, you go after the best brands, and you keep your name at the top of the list as far as a turnkey full service operation, right? And if you can't do that, don't try. There's agencies out there that will be more than happy to give you enough work to keep you busy, and you're not competing with them by bringing in-house marketing. Well, I think COVID hurt a lot of people. It's bounced back. Numbers are up. I just got a call from an account, one of the last accounts I worked with before no longer being with KM. We placed 8 engines in their environment. He called me up and he says, Tracy, I'm up 50% on my production and my revenue is climbing. That's what you focus on, right? What can you do with the equipment you have in-house to be more efficient, more proficient, or proficient, I should say, and ergonomically sound. And what I mean by ergonomically sound is having the right people in the right place for that position, right? It's not just feng shui and having things in the right place for movement. It's more so about leadership and the vision that a company can bring to the table. And if you're not ergonomically sound on that, then it's challenging as well. But again, just delivering what you say you're going to deliver when you say you're going to deliver it, and for the price that is fair and reasonable. That's what I've seen a lot more commercial printers do. It's working. It's fun again, right? Print's always been fun. I love print, but it's fun again. And the numbers are on the rise.
Yeah, well, people look at the industry, or the industry looks at numbers and as a whole, and shipments up, shipments down. I personally never looked at that. I never really even give a shit about what anybody else is doing. I only worry about what we were doing, how we were doing it, when we were doing it, and where we were doing it.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean by numbers up. Personally, believe me,
I'm not. No, you have to go.
Global stuff like that either. I'm looking specifically for that account, specifically in the commercial print space, with regards to that. So numbers for commercial printers have been up individually, and the ones that aren't up, they'll get there.
Actually, no, they won't. There's a lot that won't, because they aren't doing what needs to be done. I'm gonna make a bet and say the ones you speak to that are feel they're doing well and their numbers are up, it's because they're doing other work to make it happen. It just doesn't come.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
The most successful printers have made themselves a brand. Never mind working with the brands. They figured out that they are a brand unto themselves, and then they go out and they know how to promote what they're promoting, the different ways to promote, the different ways to reach people. Right.
Yes.
I think I say it every episode, but I tell the people I speak to in print, it's like, go out and do direct mail. Right. Spend the money, do the direct mail, let everyone know who you are, and what you do and how you do it. And on a consistent basis, they will come to you. Right. And it will speak better.
Right? Consistent.
And it'll be better than any salesperson, because you could be breaking the doors down yourself, doing the different, techniques that you're going to use. And then you're actually making it easier, because you're giving your salesperson a good lead.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm the owner and it's a really good lead, I'm calling myself, because I want to keep it in the company or make it a house account, right? Because you want to watch everyone who's coming. But there's so many ways to attract people. And I think part of the problem out there is people aren't doing a lot of the marketing, and it's easier to cut prices.
Well, and I think, so I go off the 80-20 rule, and where 20% of your people are bringing in 80% of the revenue, right? And 20% of your customers are bringing in 80% of the revenue. That holds true. And so when you're talking about direct mail and leads and all of that, you also got to remember that a lot of commercial printers get stuck with seasoned professionals that don't want to move out of their comfort zone, right? They're bringing in that 80%.
Do you know what I call those people? I call those people legends in their own mind.
Absolutely. 100%. But they're valid, right? I mean, come on. If you have a rep that's bringing in majority of your revenue, you're not going to disrupt that rep, right? You bring somebody else in to sell in a market that they're really not hitting. Another thing that I've seen that commercial printers and just people in general, they focus more on new accounts, new accounts, new accounts. It costs more time and money to get new accounts than nurturing your existing ones. It's like the McDonald's theory. Ask them one more question. What are you doing with that large format? Where are you sending your large format? Right? One more question can make all the difference when you're schlopping print. It really can. Instead of focusing on trying to turn an account that has been with a company for X amount of years, and you're trying to hard nose them and do all of this stuff and promise them everything, doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way.
Oh my God, people that do that. I mean, I remember when I was calling on accounts that were pretty solid for other people, because we all know when we're calling on someone more or less where they might be dealing or who they're dealing with. And the one thing I learned a long time ago is you need to have another pitch, not, I was talking actually with somebody young today, and, he said, oh, customers, they want price, they want service, they want quality. Well, today, I think all the machines give quality.
Yes.
For who the customers are, because the customers aren't quality customers in terms of their appreciation of high def color, but the machines are great. Service, you got to get it or you don't get it, right? You got to give service, you don't get the work. Pricing, you only charge what you need for your company to survive and make money, or you leave and find another customer. That's what I think. But a lot of these salespeople aren't even aware of how to talk. And what I used to like to do is load up the team with different samples that we printed, different things that we've done, and have them just go by and pop in and just a visit to say, not selling, just want to show you. Can't show you in an email, got to show you live, right? And everyone's probably going, that's listening now, going, oh, that doesn't work today. And you can't go. You can go to companies and people are happy to see you.
Bullshit, it does work, especially
Right.
today. Especially today, because of coming off everything. People do like to see you. And when you're going there a genuine with a genuine intent, not a agenda, you're going there with a genuine intent to show them something new that might benefit them, it does work. Put the money aside. And that's one of the one things, and I challenge people to do this. Go into a deal and don't think anything about the money. Nothing about the money. Not what it sells for, not what you're going to make on commissions, nothing about the money, and have a genuine conversation with somebody and listen intently. It changes the game, right? Just be genuine. You don't need to shuck and jive to get $1. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, even the other day, I was with somebody and they came into the meeting and they weren't even carrying like a pen and paper, right? And
Yeah.
and I said, you got to come in with a pen and paper. You don't have to write anything, but walking in with a pen and paper means you're prepared,
Yes.
right? And if you want,
Yes.
you could doodle, but chances are, if you've got a pen and paper, you will make a couple notes, right?
Absolutely.
I actually have a thing called the Plaud, Plaud, that I bought. It's an AI device that I could record my meetings and then I get the transcript.
Oh, love it.
Right. And I'll say to people, I'm going to record, because then I could actually listen. Most people, I don't think, could listen and write notes at the same time. If they could, maybe I would have passed university. I don't know. It's a debate. It's a debate in the house.
So back in the day,
definitely.
I used to use a dictaphone, the dictaphones, and you just be talking into and so forth. And I would take my notes. I'd come out of a meeting and be like, okay, I just met with so-and-so. Here's the gist of it. And then, I would transcribe it myself. I came from a legal background, so I did a lot of transcription as well. And so I had the setup, right? So I just have my dictaphone, say on that, and then transcribe it. And it just helped me prepare. But that's old school. Like, I'm still old school.
Yeah, listen, there's nothing wrong without old school, right? Old school habits are pretty good. It's
I'm interested in that program that you said. Yeah, Plaud.
Well, there's Plaud, Plaud. I think there's that one could record your meetings, your calls, but there's another one out called Limitless. That one I think I'm plugging him, but he doesn't need my plug. But I think it's $4.99, and you wear it on your neck or you can wear it on your wrist. But it's on all day, and there's battery all day, so it could record your whole day of conversations and meetings. And then at the end, you go in, you take what you want and the stuff that you need, you could transcribe and then have it, and then you always have notes.
I love
And you don't
that.
miss anything, right?
Yeah,
And for anybody out there who's going, oh, that's an invasion of privacy, screw that. Google's everywhere. I don't hear anyone calling Google, turning off history, follow me, or anything. So we're being recorded everywhere we go. You may as well record your
right?
own stuff if it could help,
Yeah.
you better your day.
Yeah, we're Big Brother. It's it's been going on forever.
Listen,
It's
I
a
figure
sweet.
this. If anybody is out listening to me, they need to get a life, because there ain't that much worth listening to if you're listening to me.
Unless
So
they're listening to this show right now.
well, the show is something else, but I'm just saying in my day-to-day life, if anyone's listening to me, they need a life,
I'm
because
with you.
there's not much going on, right? I just want to, so what is what of all your customers, your best customer, what were they doing in their business? Don't say their name just in case, unless you want to, but just to plug them. But what was their business about in how they were bringing in business and building it up?
That's a great question. I don't know if I can answer that, Warren.
Okay.
I think that the biggest thing again is just being genuine in what they're offering, giving quality, delivering on time, the price point being there, staying consistent, not trying to poach other people's accounts if they send them over on a trade job or something. Just doing good, solid business, right? There's not a lot of magic behind it, if you will. Just good, solid, honest business, and
Wow.
stay consistent, and your numbers will increase. Get good salespeople, sales professionals, not people that are just out to fill their own pocket, but that comes, right? When I learned how to put money on the back burner and stop chasing money, I had more money than I could even imagine. It's just how it works. Your mindset flips. You look at things differently. You're not as stressed, all these different things. But that comes with experience. It comes with a lot of trials and tribulations along the way, and the tenacity that you need to have when you're on the sales field, right? You're on a lot of the times. And
And
it's
you're
funny
learning.
because
You have to embrace it to learn from your mistakes as you go.
100%, and be humble about it. And not only that, educate yourself. Don't wait for your employer to educate you. Take the initiative. If this is your career, you should be educating yourself as much as you can in your career, so you can offer your accounts the best information you can offer them, honestly and transparently,
Transparency.
so they can make transparency, right? So they can make the best decisions for their business, period.
So, how would you recommend that some of the people out there educate themselves or stay educated?
Reading.
Reading what?
I think just maybe some industry books, some books that are not in the industry. One of the first books, well, everybody should be reading Dale Carnegie, right? How to Win Friends and Influence Others. But also I came across a book, The Analytical Marketer, fabulous book. Emotional Branding, another fabulous book. Just maybe some industry information that gets a lot of that gets muddy, right? But just read, educate, stay on top of the industry news. You don't have to read the whole article, just see what's going on, and keep in front of it. I think that's the best thing that they can do, is take the time to educate themselves and not wait for their employers to send them to seminars or do all of this. You can come to my crash course that I'm having, intro into the creative print industry, where we talk about the full process from ideation all the way into customer hands. and what it takes to get there, because a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of steps before it even gets to pre-press. And then it gets to pre-press and it gets stuck because the designers may not have known how to design for it, just a lot of different things that gets hung up on pre-press. But when you have a creative that just spent hours, days, months, and years coming up with a portfolio on a brand, that's a lot of time and effort, right? That's a whole process. And we talk about how many steps you can take out on the print process. You can't take out a lot of those steps on the creative process. So you put a lot of time and effort and everything into that, and it gets to print and gets stuck because of a design issue or something. So just educate. If you're a graphic designer out there, figure out how you convert design for social to design for print. Just those little things that will make all the difference.
Yeah, I remember when the web started and all these, we have creative designers, and then we have graphic designers, and then we have desktop publishers.
That's correct.
Right? The creative designers use typography. The desktop publishers don't know what typography is. Right? And there's a lot to learn. It's old school, new school, right? But the old school was more of a craft, I think, than the new school.
It is. Old school, you really had to learn the programs, right? And really learn how to design. And now, and don't get me wrong, there's programs out that are great, but not always when they're moving into the commercial print space, right? It's still that solid process of converting digital social media into digital print media. And so yeah, just again, educate yourself. So then you can do the best job for your accounts.
I think about all the files I used to get from people that would design and give you finished files or say it. And the logo 72 DPI, and you're like, the logo's no good. They're like, what do you mean?
Right.
It's from our website.
Right, exactly.
Right?
My point exactly. And think about, it's time and money on your end, right? It's time on their end of delays. There's just a lot of back and forth that goes on. So again, I feel that if people know the process from start to finish, they'll have a lot more appreciation for it and can do a better job when presenting it. And not only that, be able to find the areas where they can help their accounts build new revenue streams, right? Big difference. When you know the creative process from start to finish, and that's what's helped me in my career, is I can talk from all levels. And also business ownership. I'm a firm believer, if you're in the round table, if you want to have a conversation with me, we need to be on the same level of conversation. Otherwise, as a business owner, I'm not interested. You come to me with a presentation or a proposal in PowerPoint of $1 million piece of equipment, and you're giving it to me on a PowerPoint with all this stuff I have to figure out. I'm pushing it back and saying, when you can put this on one page in portrait format, let's talk. Otherwise, you're wasting my time. Don't give a proposal in PowerPoint landscape. Portrait, numbers, to the point, defined, and then we can talk. Bring the same knowledge to me as I'm given to you. But I'm a hard ass like that when it comes to business and making decisions.
No, I'm sitting here,
and it's just one of those things. It's like, I don't have time to go through this. You know how many things I have on my plate right now? And I'm literally giving you 15 minutes of my time. Be prepared, be educated, and give me something that's worth listening to. And then we'll talk more.
I love it. No, I think it's great. I think there needs to be more directness, right? More respect of each other, more empathy. I feel, you were on the equipment side before, but on the equipment side, I just feel that, those companies, the OEMs, just have no empathy for their entrepreneur customer owners, right?
Well, this is the reason why. Most of them aren't entrepreneurs or owners. Most of them have been with a company for a long time, and they've moved up in their position, or maybe they came from production and moved over into sales, and then they moved up to leadership. They have no idea what it's like to throw your own money on the table. Zip, zero, none. So how can you have a conversation with me when I've thrown my own money on the table. Until you've done that, guess what? Your title doesn't mean shit.
No, that's always what I felt, right? Everybody was good with my numbers.
Yeah.
So what about the ROIs they do when they go into companies? How real are those?
Okay, thank you. Great question. Now, if you have a good analyst like I had, again, that has been in the field, knows numbers, have looked at numbers, George, I'm putting a shout out to you. He's spot on his numbers. Now, I double check those as well, right? With my accounts, I'm going through and I'll ask questions. I'll call them. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And we'll relook at those numbers, because the last thing I'm going to do is over promise and under deliver, right? I'm not going to do that. And I'm big on numbers. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And there's a lot of ways that OEMs can make those numbers make sense. And so you just have to be really careful and do your own data analysis when you get those numbers back and cross check them. Bring them to the table and ask questions about them.
So let me ask. So that being said, what kind of questions should printers be asking when they're presented with an ROI? You know, I remember when I was buying equipment, depending from who and what, they would come in with an ROI. If we were buying digital, you know, they want to look at the offset press and what could move over. And I would say to them, don't touch my 40-inch press. I own it. I can't make more money anywhere than on the equipment that I already own, even if I use a few more make-ready sheets and another metal plate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You got to look at the big picture, right? You got to look at everything, your burden rate, your admin rate. Like, it depends on how you're fleshing out your numbers. Are you looking at like, what are you writing off too, right? There's a lot of things that you can write off in business that if you shift those numbers around, then you'll be a lot more lucrative in that. So again, just making sure that the data that you have given them, going through the spreadsheets and just asking line by line which one is equating to and where they're getting their information. Paper is a huge cost when you're doing ROIs. You can save a ton of money looking at your paper costs, and sometimes shifting from one piece of equipment to another piece of equipment can save you a gross amount in just your paper costs, right? So as far as questions to ask for, you should know your business well enough, in a sense, that where you know your numbers are at. And if there's anything that is throwing a red flag or anything, just ask them and have them break it down for you. They can break it down. The data is there to break it down. And again, if it doesn't make sense, you need to chew on it a little more, work, just dig a little bit deeper into all the aspects of your business to make that make sense for you, if that's the direction you want to go, right? Numbers don't really matter if you want a piece of equipment that you feel in your heart is going to do your business good, right? You can justify it somewhere. So, but numbers are a good base point to start with.
Agreed. Yeah, I can justify anything in my head that I want for anything.
100%, right?
It's really easy, right? It's oh, I have another question.
Please.
Not that I wanted to stay on all this, but it's just good. First question is, how do click charges vary amongst customers?
Volume. So with regard and negotiation, right? With regards to and size of paper. So when you're going over contracts and you're negotiating, there's single click rates, and there's like your 8.5 by 11, and then there's up to your 13 by 19, right? And a typical production machine is going to naturally run 8.5 by 11. But if you're not savvy and know that they can do a one click on up to 13 by 19, like you're losing a lot of money there, right? So negotiate one click for your 13 by 19, because most of your stuff is full bleed. You're doing 12 by 18 full bleed on production. So it can be one click. You don't have to go.
So are you saying that people are getting 8.5, 11 times 2?
Yes. for one click. They can, and they should be
Wow.
getting that. However, sometimes if you don't bring it to the table, that's one of those things where those dealers, especially one in particular that I'm very familiar with, they try to do that, and others, and OEMs. If you're not bringing it to the table, then they'll try and manipulate that, right? Because that's where they get, it's the razor blade effect. You sell them the equipment, you make the money off the service. So if you can make, it's a 3.2 rate, right? You're at 6.4 on a 13 by 19 when it really should be 3.2. There's a big difference there when you're looking at the numbers. So they vary on that. They vary on volume.
Do the salespeople benefit when that happens, when it's 8.5, 11? Just the company does it?
No, most salespeople do not get paid off of the service revenue that they bring in. It's the hardware, and then the service goes directly to the company. And I've never been paid off of service revenue in the 30 plus years I've been in the print industry. That's where the companies make their money.
Yeah, and I've heard from other people that some of the other OEMs with the 5 and 6 color machines, their salespeople aren't really pushing it or selling it because those companies aren't giving them any commission on the consumables.
Absolutely, and they should. I mean, you think about it, that's a lot of revenue that we're negotiating, right, for the company, and also saving the customer. So, and then we get some in our pocket. It's a win-win-win.
Yeah, it should be.
If it was designed that way. It's not designed that way.
So how much is a click on a 1319 Konica machine?
Industry standard is around 3.5. If you have somebody like me that's a good negotiator, I can get it way below that. So again, saving you money, right? A lot of money when you're looking at volume.
Question: if anybody's listening and they want to reach out to you for some help and some savings, is that okay?
100%. Please do. Please do.
Okay.
That's what I do. I'm here to advocate for the commercial printer and consult with them so they can get the most out of their negotiations. I have the knowledge from the OEMs. I've worked for dealer. I've worked on the direct side. So I've seen it from all angles. Remember, don't come to me across the table when you haven't been there yourself sometimes. Well, I've been there. So I've negotiated them for myself as well. So yeah, that's my purpose.
So another money saving question. And I'm just curious how much. So I remember putting in a couple machines with Xerox, but it's all the OEMs, and it's coming to the end of a quarter, and they want to get that first sheet run off by midnight, right? I remember the last time when I was putting in a machine, Xerox came to me and gave me $25,000 more to make sure that we got that machine going. So 2 questions. How much money do they have in the machine that they could offer you up something like that? And does it matter? Or is it just a bigger accounting game of numbers and quarters and whatnot? I mean, share price and all that I get. And then how much can you push to ask for when that happens? And does it depend on the cost of the machine?
I love that question. So OEMs will usually give incentives, right? And they'll subsidize equipment sales and stuff like that a lot of time. Now, that exact number will vary. And that's why they'll get a fluff of money or whatever, and they'll say, oh, we'll give you 25,000 or 40,000 if you sign this month or whatever, right? So a lot of that's coming from the OEM. What can you get back with that number, that in-between number of hard cost and MSRP? A gross amount of money. Again, if you know what to negotiate for, right? And where those numbers really should be. So just keep pushing that negotiation until you feel comfortable with those numbers, right? You have a number in your head that you feel comfortable with. 9 times out of 10, they'll usually meet them if you just ask.
That simple.
It can be that simple. Yes. Yes, it can be.
So it would be safe to say anyone who's looking to buy equipment, go out and find their end of quarter, end of year, and start off negotiating that way. And you could even tell them you're negotiating that way because you know.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and again, they're there's always going to be a promo. There's always going to be something, right? That's negotiation. I mean, that's why we do what we do. It's all a negotiation. Great, you're coming to me with a promo. I'm not ready to buy right now, but guess what? I would like the same numbers in 2 months. Oh, well, it's going to be gone. Well, then so will I. I mean, promo
Oh,
all the time.
I've had OEM that they come in and you have a machine that's coming to an end, or you have another year. They're like a bit like car salespeople. They have another year and they want you to trade up, and then they come in and then they'll offer to take off X amount of dollars of your balance. They'll put the other amount, like a leasing company car, back in,
Yes, they
and
do.
then they'll do the ROI, and then they'll play with the click charges so at the end they can show you how you're actually saving and making more money on the new machine than on the old.
And sometimes that makes sense. For production equipment, a lot of times that makes sense within the 3 to 5 year, right? Now, here's another something to be aware of. Some companies will try, one specific, they've done it for years. They will wrap the service agreement in with the lease. When you're negotiating equipment, ask them to break it out. Because if you attach your maintenance on with the lease and you go to do a buyout in 3 to 4 or 5 years, then you're paying for maintenance that is not rendered, which in some states is against the law. So then what it does is it puts you upside down on your equipment, and it's hard to buy that equipment, right? And there, because you're buying the equipment and the service of those 2 years that they're not going to be rendering that service, but because it's on the lease and not breakable from the company itself that's on the lease, you have to buy out that service also, and it flips you upside down. Big no on the dealer side. They shouldn't be doing it. And so whenever negotiating contracts, have them break it out. And what you'll find are the numbers are different because they can't hide as many numbers
Wow.
when they do that.
I'm sitting here a little flabbergasted because I just learned something today that I didn't know, and that's about contracts with the lease or the maintenance.
That's right. Also on that, again, look at your contracts, your service level agreements, right? If there's a percentage that they have you at, say you're at a 97% uptime on your machines, or supposed to be 93% uptime, whatever it is, make sure you're getting those logs, because typically in an SLA, you should be negotiating a kickback if the company isn't keeping your equipment at service performance, right? So don't miss that step. Ask for money back. You're not keeping my equipment up for me to push volume, yet you still want me to pay you the exceptional service fees. No. I dropped to 89%, and I can show you where because of your lack of service, maybe there was a delay in time, maybe parts took a little bit longer, and it pushed me to an 87% performance rather than a 93% performance. Give me some money back. Just those things that
Where
should
have
be
you
negotiated.
where have you been my whole life?
I've been right here, Warren.
No, I'm thinking back again. I had a thing with Xerox, and when I bought the iGen 5, which I've said it before, they did the press release worldwide, first one in the world, installed extra 3 colors, blah, blah, blah. And we were down all the time. And we were pumping out good numbers all the time. And you know what Xerox said to me at the time when I said, like, where's the maintenance? Where's this? Where's the guy? We got a problem. No, you don't have a problem. You are outpacing the rest of the country. I said, I don't care if I'm outpacing the
I don't
rest of the
care.
country. I have my own downtime that I could be uptime.
Yeah. Wow. And
Wow.
the other thing too is it drives me absolutely nuts. Run heavy on your service. Come on, OEMs, dealers direct, run heavy on your service. People buy service. And
Use
so
them.
run heavy on it. You can always distribute those texts out to somewhere else. Like put them on an afternoon, or put them on the second shift, or put them on a third shift call on something. Run heavy on your service, because nobody should be waiting when your equipment is down for a tech to get there, right? But here's the thing. a lot of those people have never been in production. I've been in production. So I know what it's like to have equipment down and you're pushing deadlines and you have a customer on the line waiting for their job and you're waiting on service. It's
never mind your customer. You've got all your orders for the week to go, right?
Yeah,
So you're
exactly.
in for a nightmare.
Yeah, it's just a trickle effect. So, and
Yeah,
then also remember to review your contracts in detail. There's some contracts out there right now that people should be reviewing because OEMs owe them a lot of money. But because they're not reviewing their contracts and asking for that money, which they shouldn't have to, the onus should fall on the OEM because they're the ones that negotiated it, right? And I know of some specifically that this OEM owes a lot of money to, but because this printer has not asked for their rebates, they've not been paying it out, which is wrong.
They're not offering it up. Right.
They're not offering it up. So if you are with an OEM, a dealer, I strongly advise you right now to go back and look at your service contracts in particular, but also your deal contracts. What did they promise you when you signed that deal? And have they delivered on that rebate money that they promised you to get the deal signed? Because you'll sign the deal and then they'll delay on that rebate money if give it to you at all, if you don't ask for it.
Interesting. So the one advantage that printers have today, and I'm sure they're aware of it, but when you get a contract from any of these folks, OEMs, if you give it to your lawyer, you're going to spend thousands for them to read it, and your lawyer will probably tell you don't sign it at the end. So what you want to do is today, when you get a contract, you want to use AI. You want to be paying for AI first because you don't want to load up anything with your name on it that isn't being paid for in your own domain. And then you could put the contract into AI and you could prompt it to ask it to review the contract and tell you what works in your favor, what you have to be concerned about, what are the potential long-term liabilities, etc., and see what it comes out with right away.
Nice. So
you can go to your lawyer at the end if you want. Yeah, well, I mean,
nice.
I did that not long ago, and just avoiding the lawyer for the first reading, I saved $2,000. I know I have to go back to the lawyer to eventually do something, whatever it is they think they do, and but until then, from that first reading from AI, I was able to go back to the people and have a conversation with them about things in the contract that needed to be discussed.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fine print, right? That people sometimes they just don't take the time to read all that fine print. I read all the fine. Remember, I come from a legal background, so
so you know what the thing is? You could read that fine print. What I've learned the hard way over time, it's part of my School of Hard Knock MBA, is we as laymen don't understand even what the fine print means because it has legal meaning.
Exactly.
And the one thing I've learned about the law is everything I interpret is completely wrong. Every single thing. So I stopped interpreting. Now I want to get some help.
No, it's always a good idea to hire an attorney, right? If you're in high level negotiation and equipment and it's making a huge impact on your business. But if you just go through those contracts and redline them out, the T's and C's and everything to have it work for you and your business, it's a simple red line. Send it back to them and say, correct this. Let them pay for it on their attorney's side. They have the money to do it, a lot more money to do it, right? And then again, on those contracts that some are not honoring, go through and ask them to give you those rebates back. Ask them to give you the incentives that are taking months, years to get back that they're putting on the commercial printer to ask for, and it shouldn't be on their onus. They're the ones that wrote the contract. They're the ones that negotiated the deal. They're the ones that should be following through with it. Not you guys.
Yep. Oh my God. Okay. We're gonna, there's so much more, but we're gonna end this one, but we're gonna do it again because just the information that you provided, and take out names. There's no names or anything. It's just basic stuff that printers should do.
Yes.
A lot of the good printers know that. I mean, that's why I was probing you with some of the questions, because I know, that's some of the things that we used to do. But this is exactly what I want to have on this podcast, where the printers could learn how to do things a little better to better themselves. And on the flip side, the OEMs could learn a little bit also from the printers on this side. And I'll say this. I like most of the people that work within the OEMs. This is not a personal thing that we are talking about people. This is corporate. If you're a public company and you have a CEO, no matter what you tell me, I know he's only interested in the share price. So that's where all my concerns come in. So as long as you know that we as print owners still love you, but we got to be a little weary of you because we're spending money signing, and then chances are if you leave the company, we're still stuck with the company.
Well, right. And there's a big thing too, right? Is we gain trust and build trust relationships and really work with those accounts. The higher the dollar volume, the longer the relationship is built, right? And then again, the OEMs or whatever, they shift territories, they terminate you for bullshit reasons, whatever the case may be. And then you're stuck with somebody for another 5 years. Like, what do you guys do? You're stuck at that point. You bought the equipment based on that person that you dealt with being involved throughout the whole gig, right? And then they're just gone, and you're stuck with somebody that's mediocre, or ownership that doesn't, again, really care about you. They're just looking for the bottom line.
You bought the relationship. That's why you went in.
Yes.
That's why you did what you did most of the time. That's why I even say to even to my salespeople when they're selling customers, multi-level sell. Get to know the people higher up as well, right? Know who's all around, so in the event of, you're not left in the dark, not knowing any names.
Yeah.
Right.
So owner or
it's
janitor.
The same thing if you're a printer.
Owner or janitor, treat them the same. That janitor has more information about that company than half the owners do. People
are people, and all people deserve to be treated respectfully.
Agreed.
End of story, right?
Agreed.
And I mean, listen, at my company, the receptionist and the shipper were the two most important people. It was the first voice person on the way in, and the shipper was the person who made sure your stuff was going out properly out the door. Everybody in the middle was just fluff.
Yeah.
Well, not really fluff.
It's not really fluff, but don't discount anybody is really what I'm saying. Sorry, that there's an ambulance going by, and so my dog is howling.
Is that your dog?
That's my Prince. Come here. Yeah.
That's funny.
An ambulance going by, so I always say, "Oh, he's howling for the person in it."
Your dog's an ambulance chaser? What kind of dog?
No, he just cares about the people in it, so he's just saying a prayer for him when he's howling like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So before we close this down, any final words to anybody who's listening? And I'm sure there's a few people listening at this point.
Yeah. Just again, remember, ask good questions. Don't let people push you into purchasing when you're not ready. Remember, they need you more than you need them, and there's always a deal that can be on the table. So if you need help, just reach out. I mean, I love sharing information. I dig it. I dig it. So anything I can do to help, I'm here to help.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow, what a session. I don't even know what I had planned in my head, but it wasn't discuss all of that. So that was a bonus. And I think this time for a lot of printers, you've picked up on a few things. You might have known a bunch of stuff. Now we just reconfirmed it. If you didn't know, now you know. You can reach out to me anytime you want. If you want any help negotiating, discussing, you could reach out to Tracy as well. We're both actually here together to help you if you can need it. Let's take, as printers, let's take the world back.
Right.
And own it. Agreed. To everybody else, thank you so much for supporting me and listening, and continue to listen. As always, if you have any ideas, let me know. If you want to be on, let me know. If you know someone who should be on, let me know. Just let me know. Other than that, we're going to close it down. It's Warren Werbit, Printing's Alive, and who loves print more than me? No one. We'll see you on the next one. Ciao, Tracy, and thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.